All right, boys and girls, episode 2, the Skramble Life. Here we go. We brought in some heavy hitters in the public golf world in this, what kind of area are we in?
I guess Montgomery County, PA.
You like Montgomery County.
Well, I mean, look, it's not Delco,
yeah,
right?
yeah, no. And if you say you're from Delco, you better be from Delco.
Yeah, if not, you're going to get beat up.
Yeah. So Montgomery County public boys, we got B. Davis, Brian Davis. What's the at, Brian Davis?
B. Charles.
B. Charles.
B-E-E like a B.
Yeah.
.C-H-R-L-Z.
Yeah, and if you want us to get some style, get some swag, you follow that guy.
This dude's got
He's got enough of it.
No, we got to go under the radar with that.
Get a little closer to that mic there. Just move that up a little bit.
Is that better?
You're good.
Yeah, you can tilt it up. There you go.
Perfect.
Oh,
Perfect.
look at that.
Look,
Yeah.
We almost know what we're doing.
Almost. And then we got the bubbling golfer,
Yep.
a.k.a. John Kelly.
Yep.
Been doing this podcast game for a while. Thank you for joining in at the Skramble Life. We had this idea, about a month ago?
Yeah.
And we transformed this room from whatever it was to this. Mm-hmm. And now we can get some guests in here and see what we got at the Skramble Life. A lot of cool comments, a lot of nice feedback on the last one. We're just going to keep rolling with guests, keep rolling with, what we've done here at Scramble, how I've kind of started breaking away from the private club instruction, club atmosphere into what we do at Scramble, called Skramble Life. We're different. We make waves in a no-wake zone. Some people like it. Some people love it. Some people don't like it. And guess what? Don't care. We roll how we do it. So yeah, let's jump right in real quick with a little bio. B. Davis, give it a little rundown of where we started golf in this world and where we're at right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So short and sweet of it, started golfing when I was 11, picked up the sport just for the sake of the sport. For some reason at that time, really enjoyed it, whether it was the aesthetic, whether it was the actual activity, whether it was out being on a course just out in the world. Picked it up, didn't really have any connection to it family-wise, but started playing really, really regularly, had some really great support by my family, who ultimately picked up the sport because I was playing the sport, which was fantastic. But got some instruction as a junior, was very, very competitive as a junior golfer, traveled around the country playing in junior events.
And you're solid right now. I mean, what do you play to, like 5'6"?
I'm at a 4.6, I believe.
4.6, nice.
Yeah. So, and that's been just, again, that short of that story, really, really competitive as a junior golfer, but grinded.
He's
and
still competitive, dude. It's not just a junior.
He's how that grind can sometimes wear. And it got to the point where, like, I'm not playing for my or for a paycheck.
Yeah.
So when it started being a bummer, I sort of stepped back and went to college, did my academic stuff, and when I got back out into the professional world, picked it up just because I wanted to pick it up again, and it's been a really nice uphill trajectory ever since.
Nice. Well, now, what kind of career did you kind of choose paths in?
Yeah. So I'm a creative individual. John would say that.
Yeah.
Well, that tracks. But I'm
100%.
I'm a professional interior designer.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Love it. And if you see some of the stuff that Brian does, and I, we've just met a couple months ago since you kind of joined. Johnny brought Brian in, and I loved, everything about him. And, what we do here at Scramble is we let everyone kind of choose their path and whatever makes them feel comfortable. And, this is a place where everyone's welcome. And I think as you came in, you probably got that feeling a little bit more. And, you express your way, whatever. And a lot of really cool, a lot of inspiration I've got just in taking some content, taking some pictures, and being like, man, I don't even, like, my brain doesn't think like that, Johnny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm always looking at, the positions of the golf swinger, like how that's going to look good and editing and everything. And then Brian just pops up that really cool photo. We'll share it at the Union game. Dude, that was just dope.
Yeah. I had to throw in a little Always Sunny in Philadelphia because I came from Minnesota, so Minnesota United supporter, and they unfortunately tanked in that. So, yeah.
That's a cool like little segue into, and as we go in here, John, and John will probably be here with us a lot, just doing different things. But there's just so many dynamic people.
So many, dude.
That I could pick one from every day and just we talk and you get Brian, interior designer, the next guy's an engineer, the next person, next female is a nurse or a doctor, and you're like, man, there's just, and it brings around in golf, right, and in Scramble, and that's kind of what we talked about before, how we bring everyone together with the sport of the game.
It's a community.
Yeah,
it's really truly a community
and built for everybody.
Everybody,
and it's not that cliche community. Like we're a community. I mean,
Yeah.
it truly is.
and it's growing. Like I see people on a golf course, and Brian and I see people on the golf course. They're like, "Yeah, you belong to Scramble?" Yeah, 100%. I mean, my bag, I have a Scramble bag now, but it's community. That's really what, like, that's the one thing. By the way, I had to convince Brian a little bit to come here. He's like, "Yeah, I'm not sure. It's like Sims and all that other stuff." But like, we were just out there playing, and I just turned to him. I said, "Man, I love it here." And we have those conversations all the time.
And I mean, if I don't see you guys for a week, I'm like, where are they? You know what I mean? And and a lot of times, I believe a lot of John. We'll talk to John with what he's got going on with golf, but a lot of his, I would say, success is due to being able to play golf with Brian or anybody on a daily basis in here. I mean,
he makes me better. I mean, I told him straight up, my goal for coming here and doing what I do is to beat him straight up.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
I'm 13
need to be
now.
on my I need to be on my toes now. So we
That's
each
cool. You kind of push each other.
Yeah.
So Johnny, let's talk about the game of golf in your world.
Yep. Yeah. So I grew up playing baseball. So my biggest thing was I just wanted to hit a ball as far as I could.
Yeah.
My uncles actually my uncles were in golf. They're agronomists, right? So my one uncle worked all over. They lived in Lafayette Hill, so all the big courses around there. They did that. My one uncle was the superintendent at Kimberton for like 40 years. Now he works at the Union League. He just kind of rides a mower around and all that. But yeah, that was really it for me. I wouldn't say I was like poor growing up, but like we didn't have money. So I always went to Kimberton and played because my uncle would let me play for free. Fast forward, I mean, I used to compete in long drive, right? So I liked to hit the ball as long as I could. I did that for a few years, had a family and all that. That kind of stopped. And then when I went to get back in, I started trying to compete again. I just can't. I don't have the speed anymore. But at one point I did. I thought I was pretty good. I was never, by the way, long drivers, if you're out there and you consider yourself a long drive professional, you're probably not. I'm just saying it. That might be controversial, but whatever. It's the truth. I mean,
the percentages are just such a select. I mean, the other day I'm watching them, hit balls, and I think they were in Vegas. The ball speeds are 210 easy nowadays.
Yeah.
And the females are getting up to 175, 180.
Yeah.
Which is great. I go
back to like the OGs, man. Yeah. I shared a tee with Michael Hooper. If anyone remembers him.
How about Zubak?
Yeah, I shared a tee with him too.
Yeah, Zubak and Pavlet.
Yeah, Pavlet.
And all the youngsters nowadays,
they have no idea. And you know what? They don't even understand where and how long.
Well, Salinger, Art back in the day.
Art, and then Randy Souza, who was his partner. Randy sold out to Art. Art then sold it out. But yeah, so my golf career kind of was like that, and then I got obsessed with hitting a ball like on a par 3.
Yeah. Right?
And that's kind of where it was. And then I didn't play golf for 5 years. I had a lot of stuff in my life.
Yeah.
And then I went back and started playing again, and I actually met Brian the first year I went back to play. We played our first event. He and I and Shane met on the course, and that was it, man. Like, I played golf with Brian more than I play with anybody.
Yeah, that's cool.
I remember that first day too, because
dude, it was hailing.
You're out there carrying your bag, saying, "I got it."
Letter rack. I got through 15 and I had to jump in the cart, dude. I was done. Done.
It's funny though, like, as we grow in life and what we do, and I'm starting to get back into, I wouldn't say love the game. We talked about that a lot, Johnny.
It's coming, man.
It's coming, but where I was, right? So 18, got into college, turned pro because I made a check, thought that was cool. Got in that world, played some mini tour stuff. Boy, that's a grind. Never want to do that again. Got in the club world. Traveled all around the country, and I saw everything. Top instructors, top clubs, 1.3 gets you in the door versus $100 a month gets you, and there's just so many different dynamics. Then I got into Philly, that was, I've been in the biz 18 years, and I've seen so many different golf pros, so many different clubs, and I look at where golf is going and where I'd like to be. I'm 36 now. I got a long way to go, and I feel like now given an opportunity or a platform like Scramble and to share, I think this new, I hate to say new age of golf, but it's, let's be real, around here, I think some really good public golf courses exist.
Yeah, I agree.
And if you don't have 30, 40 grand, you ain't getting in the door.
No.
And the wait lists are high.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of our members
30, 40, you're talking, some of them are like 100.
Yeah.
And a 5 or 10 year wait list.
Easy.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that world is just completely different and lost within the golf and the community of what we do. I went and played Worcester, last night with some ladies. We played it in a 5-some. We got it around in a couple hours, and they had a blast.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's golf, man.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
As we get going, you look at the Live, you look at PGA. Like, I don't care what Tiger Woods does tomorrow. No. Like, I just couldn't care less.
By the way, his merch is way overpriced. Yeah. Continue.
But his logo is not even that good anyways. But hey, let it go.
Yeah.
But, you look at what, everyone can do in golf, whether it's, like that guy today that had a brand new set of mirrors. Never been on a golf course before.
I would love to even try them.
Yeah, I hit them. They're beautiful. But then you got the next person like Phil who just goes to the driving range. He's never been on the golf course either. So this age of COVID golfer, the chance of keeping them in the game is wild.
Yeah.
Well, and the key word there is accessibility.
Yeah.
And again, that's a buzzword of sorts, but even this space here, it's making things accessible.
It's so accessible. Like it's ridiculously accessible.
Crazy. Yeah. And you've got your 24 hours, and there's going to be some of us who are up there at 3 just because can't sleep, and there's nice putting going on. But that accessibility and even expanding on that a little bit, that idea of community, if you have that aspect of community, you're getting people back in the door just because of that, fostering those relationships.
Yeah, and it's amazing because I used to be at a golf club where, obviously there's wealthy people, and if you don't play golf 50, 100 times, you're not.
No.
And that's just not the world nowadays.
No.
People are lucky to play 10 or 20 rounds.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and we don't really have the weather here to play year-round.
No.
Right? Honestly, a lot of those courses close because they don't want their grounds to be tore up and greens.
They use mats off the fairway and whatever, and all these guys are just grinding to go play golf. And this is a big area for golfers, and I just feel like as we get going and watch the accessibility and just the people that we can touch and contact through this is just wild.
Well, anyone that looks at any of your social media, any of my can see there's no one person that's the same. Yeah. If you look at me and Brian,
couldn't be any different.
Yeah, couldn't be any more different. And he and I have talked about this. If we didn't meet that day, we would have never hung out ever.
Yeah, you guys are not in the same circles. Nothing.
No. And Brian is fairly new to the area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 years pretty much on the date.
Yeah.
Well, let's kind of chat a little bit about John. I don't even know how did we meet? Anyways, I don't even remember how that.
Here.
Yeah, here.
Oddly enough, I know I met Joe years ago.
That's right. You were in a league. You played in a men's league.
I played in a tournament with Joe. When I had Yeti Golf,
that's right.
I donated to the club.
Yeah, and he goes, I think I know that guy from I think he used to have Yeti Golf. And
yeah.
I'm I have no idea.
Yeah.
But that was back in the day with
That was 2012.
Yeah. But when you got here and you played in that league that night league with Shane.
Yeah.
I got to meet you and you got to see this place and listen, there's a lot of other places around here that people can go play indoor golf. It's not that, but for what we do and how we do it in this space, it's very hard to really keep up with us.
Yeah.
Right?
I wouldn't have never came if Shane wasn't like, yo man, let's go play because and I'll be honest, when I first came here, you were a lot to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, dude, this dude is out 1,000 miles an hour all the time. But I mean, and we'll get into it at some point, but like you and I got to spend a lot of time together over the summer. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah, it's to your point, like, you know, I think once people get in here, that's it.
Yeah.
And it's a domino effect.
Yeah.
Easy domino effect too, because Shane brought you in, you brought me in. Like it's just that kind of continuous space.
Yeah, and it's funny because like when the business world right now, they're all about, you know, advertising. I just got an Eagles yearbook, you know, like in Phillies, and you know, for us, you know, it's the reason why it works is the members that we have in here, and I just don't let everyone come in the house, you know, and I want to be able to know, like, hey, you know, Brian's got my cell phone. I see him here. On occasion, I've looked on the camera, seeing you hit balls, and you'd help me out because I'm either, you know, at Horsham or somewhere else. And I feel like, you know, as we go here, you know, I pay the bills, but everyone else owns the place.
Yeah. So, I mean, just a small little thing. Like, I've seen people taking trash out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because it's like, I can't reiterate enough, and I'll never be able to say it enough, like the community here, which, by the way, I don't even know, did you think it would turn into this?
No, you know, it's funny. I felt like it was like Horsham. Like Horsham is a different beast than this place.
Yeah.
And opening it up, now granted, we only have a couple hundred memberships there. We have a lot more here, and we're close to that number, which is nice. But Horsham's there, like people, you know, grind. They get better at golf and then they leave.
Yep.
It's more of a gym style. They're there for an hour, half hour. They're not there for playing 18 holes. I only have 5 sims. But you get here at KOP and it's a completely different animal. Now, I believe also, you know, this demographic is more that style.
Yeah.
And then we have 12 sims, which
And you have the
is
couches.
nice. And
like,
the couches are nice.
It's more comfortable.
And those couches are incredible.
Incredible.
I'll do work.
Yeah.
I'll set up on the Wi-Fi, do work, and I know that there's a bunch of individuals that do the same.
Yeah.
Hit balls in between an activity or something like
so
that.
like the community wise, right? I've come here and just brought like something to eat, and I'll sit down on the couch and I'll watch people. I'll come watch Brian play golf on the sim. I'll come watch a game. I was sitting here one day, Back to the Future was on. I was like, it's one of my favorite, by the way, greatest trilogy ever. I sat there and watched Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Like, I did that here.
And it's funny because you start to see that, and then people go, well, it's just not golf, right? And what we try to do every day is to share these things, right? I'm like, I don't care if I don't get another member walking through that door.
Yep.
If people know we work hard for our members and the members are very comfortable and they have a place to call home, that's all I care about.
Yep.
You know, and I believe as we go, and especially, I mean, let's talk about, you know, the driving ranges and the practice facilities around here.
They're very few and far and few between.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really one, which is what, Tees?
Yeah.
Tees, you could go out to Waltz or...
Yeah, you can go out there.
But like you said, very few and far between, and you're always going to be waiting for a bay.
And is it adding value, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, none of those places have like, because I know there's a lot of like Top Tracer stuff. Oh, you have Topgolf here too.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I would never take my own clubs into Topgolf.
Yeah.
You know,
we just had a guy join from there, and I asked him, like, well, what did you do there? He's like, well, I just rented a bay and hit balls. And I'm like, did you know what you were doing? And he just wanted to swing and hit balls, which is cool.
And the value proposition, like, and I'm sure we'll get into that, but like the value proposition here, I told you, like, you lose money on me.
I lose money on everybody.
Like, you really do.
And I feel like, you know, once we break down those barriers, and, you know, I get a lot of, like, a guy joined last night, you know, he's looking at other clubs and he's like, hey, what's your initiation? And I'm like, nothing. And he's like, really? And he got in the summer, you know, because summer dues are much more value, and I want to get people in the program, right? And I like our renewal rate is not that, like, it's 85, 90%. So I'm not really losing too many members. So that's how we can keep building. And, you know, I had a guy, you know, we just played a local course today, and he's like, I'm like 1 foot out, 1 foot in. And, like, I want to be at a club for years.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, man, I don't know if I want to go to another place. Or should I just stop my membership?
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people have done just because of time and effort and all that stuff. And, you know, for us, you know, this is your place, and until you don't want to use it anymore.
I think the stigma really is around, and again, this is something Brian and I talked about, like, I think the stigma is the Sims, right?
Yeah.
Like, because there's a lot of simulator places around here, right?
A lot.
So you have, I mean, within 10 minutes of here, there's probably 3.
Yeah.
Outside of that, like, you can come in here and people are like, oh no, I hit a ball, I hit my driver 300 yards.
Yeah.
Okay, go do it. And then they get on there and they're like, oh well, something's wrong with the sim. And it's like, no, there really isn't something wrong with the sim, because Justin will get on, or John will get on, or
hit it. Yep.
any one of these younger guys will get on and they're like, oh no, this is exactly right. Brian will get on there and hit a ball. Like, look, I can bust a drive 250. Like, you know what I mean? So, they're going straight now, right?
Yeah,
they're going
I like
straight.
it. They're hitting fairways.
Consistent.
Let's talk about Bella Vista the other day when I got to play with you for the first time, really. And, that's kind of what the program's like, right? So you get out with our players.
Yep.
I played today. I played yesterday. I was supposed to play Sunday, but that kind of with the rain. And I get to watch you play, talk about how you can, what you thought about that scenario or experience.
Well, so, that was, it was super unique. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm good.
It was super unique to me because, like, I'm a coach myself, right?
Yeah.
And, like, I like to give feedback, like, kind of during I coach baseball. I like to give feedback immediately. It was a little interesting to me because you didn't really give me feedback.
Nothing.
I saw the wheel spinning, and then, we played golf. I didn't play great. I hit some good shots. It was cold, windy, rainy. Like, I can make excuses. My body was really cold. It was cold that day, man.
It was chilly.
And but afterwards we went. Like, here's the thing. You came out and you played golf with me, right?
Yeah.
And then the plan was we went out and had something to eat afterwards,
Yeah,
and we talked about kind of the day. And I just got here today probably for the first time, maybe the second time. But I remember everything that you told me.
Yeah.
Like, you went through every single hole. Every shot. Like Rain Man.
Yeah.
Like Rain Man. For real.
Yeah, and I feel like, and today someone asked me how I played, and, I used that 18 Birdies app today, and
Yeah, shout out 18 Birdies.
Yeah, definitely a huge difference because people can track it, dude, and talk about community.
Yeah.
Look, dude, I
follow Brian. He'll send me a text.
Dude,
I'll send him a text.
I'm telling you. So, and it's so funny. I got done with playing. We played 12:27, 2:20, about 2:35, 2:49. I can't believe you guys just finished a round and I'm stuck in the office from one of our members.
Yeah,
and I said, "Oh, it was just an easy 9 holes, Doc." I said, "Quit working, it's easy."
Right. Yeah.
And that's like, that guy had no idea I played golf until he looked at the 18 birdies. And all of a sudden, it's like,
well. So let me add on, and just give me 1 second.
Yeah.
So let me add on to that. You can follow my round, no matter where. Like, I got a text from Justin. I ended up shooting like even par. I was away for work and I played, and he goes, "Man," he goes, "that it looks like you did really good," and I tracked everything. But the point I'm trying to make is, what golf coach, what PGA pro, what any golf, I don't care what your affiliation is at all. Nobody does that.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, honestly, like, I look at our summer program, and I used to, because I was outside at a club, I'd grind in the summer.
Yep.
Grind. You have to. You have no time.
Yep.
Now that I can teach at 8 o'clock at night, 6 in the morning, I can teach my 8 players and then still go play 9 holes.
Right.
And I feel like 9 holes is just perfect.
Yeah.
Right? We played 14 the other day.
Yeah.
And 9 holes for us, that gave me enough to, digest, talk about it, and then we can, move on, and it's a couple hours, right?
Yep.
I don't have 4 hours or 5 hours to play 18 holes, which is tough, but I can play literally 9 holes with somebody and then go check on their stats.
Yep.
And really, for you, John, I mean, that the mentality, is a huge deal when we're, listen, you can tell me about the lies all you want, but if I see them, it's a completely different animal.
Yeah.
Like the fairway shot you hit on one.
Yeah.
Right? That's a tough lie.
It was a really bad choice.
It's a bad choice, right?
But we talked about that.
Yeah, and you made double, right? And you look at that and you go, you know what? And I hope just one of those holes, when you go play an event tomorrow or the next day with AGS, right? AGS does a great job of giving you the opportunity to go compete.
Yep.
You look at that and you go, maybe I'll make it that better decision.
1,000%.
Yeah.
By the way, that's where Brian and I met on AGS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shout out AGS.
Yeah, and they do a great job of giving access to public golfers or anyone that wants to compete.
And keeping it competitive.
Yeah, whether you're a 12 handicap, a 30 handicap, whatever. So which is cool. And watching our players compete, like Josh last week took it down, you took it down the week before, and those are the kind of things that I look at from a owner or facility to go, hey, I want to give you guys something that you've never had, right? Brian, you never had a practice facility like this.
No, absolutely
And when we start talking about swing mechanics or, look at your chipping.
Yeah,
I mean,
incredible, and
Yeah.
it one of those things too, where if I didn't have the accessibility to
Yeah.
practice that
Yeah.
in the repetitive, the magnitude that those
Yeah.
shots are happening, I wouldn't have that. I'm a field golfer first and foremost, and
Yeah.
and if I don't have that, it's not going to be pretty. But yeah,
Yeah, and we honestly, you were like, dude, I'm struggling a little bit with chipping. So I
Yep.
watched it. None of the balls were spinning. None of them had any kind of solid hit. And we just did a little drill and stuff. And then the next week was really cool because the next Saturday morning when it
Yep.
was early,
Yep.
you were just pitching the ball beautifully. And I'm like, got it. And you're like, yep, I got it, man.
Yep.
And that's kind of where I believe, John, that's kind of the world that we live in now as a coach,
Yep.
right? And there's nothing wrong with what everyone does. It's just a program. And for me, yeah, I could charge I have $1 million facility out there. I could charge whatever I want. And I believe in a program where it's growth and long-term development. I don't want someone to, because of whatever it is, they have to stop, right? I just don't like that. I don't want good members to go, Justin, I'm sorry, I just can't do that anymore. And whether it's financial or time or job like that, I just don't want that to happen. So I try to do as much as I can to, move that needle so we can keep those people.
Yeah, I mean, I think you do a fantastic job of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I see people from all walks of life.
Yeah.
I mean, your reels that you put out, and the videos you put out, and then me coming in here, like, we have everyone from Connor's 11 years old to guys that are in their 80s coming in here, and couples coming in here. It's nice to see.
Yeah.
I see parents bringing their kids in, and their parents sit there with their laptop. By the way, you can come here, and if you have the Wi-Fi password, you can get on and
Did
do
you get
some
on the
work.
Wi-Fi password?
I did.
That's
did.
like I got. There's two really big questions. First one last night. Another one was like, "What's your dress code?" And then the second one was like, "Do you have Wi-Fi here?"
Yeah.
It's like one of those things that I'm like, yeah, I have like 7 of them.
Yeah.
And you can
Yeah.
do whatever one you want.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's that's eye-opening in KOP world versus Horsham. And now that I have it, I never want to lose it.
Yep.
Like that, like to watch yesterday, we had 4 sims going, all 4 or 5 people just hanging out. They were hitting balls, they were talking, and they were hitting, different shots. And that's the kind of stuff you just can't get on a range. You can't
you can't. It's not just a range, Justin. It's everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Brian and I, we've played events in other sim places before this was here.
Yeah.
And when your hour's up, dude, if you're through 16 and you're winning an event and your hour's up, they tell you to leave.
Yeah.
Like, they will physically come and turn it off. Here, if you do that, people are like, "Yo, I'll just be chipping and putting over here. Give me."
I
whatever.
feel like that really is probably one of our biggest strengths. As a facility.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's the community. Should we do the?
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, it's so easy. We're back, by the way, part 2. We had a little TV timeout, but dude, those podcast idea is so easy to edit back and forth.
Yeah.
By the way, this is custom as it gets.
Yeah, it is. Everything here is custom.
It is so custom. It is, and it's funny when you ask somebody about, I invite them in, and I feel like we've did it on a pretty tight budget building this, and they come in
$400.
Yeah, it was
total?
not that. It was not that much. And then they're like, well, I would put these lights on it. I'm like, and I look them up, and they cost more than the whole room.
Yep,
I'm like, guys, I'm sorry. Like,
well, look,
we're
just
trying to
this
do different
wood
things.
that's here, it has a lot of stories.
Yeah.
A lot of stories.
Oh yeah, these are the ones for the golf show.
The golf show, the Sims that we built. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's a man. I can't wait for next year with the
Yeah.
golf show because
we can do this
we're
there.
gonna kill it and have it there.
Yeah.
Have literally a show where people walk up and literally sit down and go, "Hey, tell me about your story, man. I'd love to hear about it."
Yeah.
And I feel like in the golf and in what we do, everyone's just like me, and I'm like, yo, I want to know about that guy. And I think Instagram or social has gotten to the point where, hey, I might not get a chance to ask you all the time, but I get to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right? And then see what you're about. And there's just really cool people can express themselves and do different things on that. So
Yep.
yeah, it's a cool thing. There's a lot of things that we're going to do, and I'm really excited about it.
Yep.
And all right, let's get back in it. The question I get a ton in business or just around from everybody, it's like, what other places do you see in the indoor golf space that my model concept really doesn't exist when I built the first one? And I walk around, I looked around, everyone calls me and wants to know dues, all this stuff. But, we touched on it earlier with the community. Like, we have different type of members, 24/7, obviously, dress codes, comfort. I just want you to feel like your house. And I never wanted to kick people off Sims, never wanted to count hours. Oh, my gosh. If I had to count hours, I didn't even know what to do. So I know you guys probably in this area have been to more places than myself because obviously I just build this and do this. And I feel like, everyone else can do whatever they want to do. I don't care. I really want to control and have a great experience for our members. And the first timers, when they walk in, they feel like a member.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's a la carte, really. And you're not getting that anywhere else. And what I mean by a la carte is I can come in and say I do want to practice full swings. I can go practice full swings and be totally good with that. But I don't feel bad if, say, I have an hour booked and I hit 5 or 10 shots full swing and then go practice chipping and putting for the rest of the time. In my time here and with my membership, I never feel bad about the time I'm putting in. The time I'm putting in is the time I want to put in, and particularly what I want to work on at that time. Never feel bad, and I feel rushed and or not getting my money's worth if I'm out somewhere else going, even that indoor sort of facility.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And as far as the indoor spots around here or really anywhere, so you're talking about the golf show. Like, how many people came up? They're like, "Oh yeah, there's a place like that," where I'm like, it's not even close. And then, you show them a video, and it's like, "Hey, here's what we have," and they're like, "Well, what do you mean? It's just Sims?" I'm like, "No, there are 12 Sims in this location, 6,000 square." I mean, I had the whole thing down, man.
You were actually. It was funny. Everyone thought you were the owner and you builder, and And honestly, I feel like, and I talked this to Joe a lot. When someone comes to me and they bring it indoor golf, right? Indoor golf could literally be 3 or 2 Sims and a bar.
Yep.
Or my 21,000 square foot real bunker putt. Like, people call that the same, and I feel like it really, really destroys the market because there's nothing really. Everyone says Premier. I'm a Premier facility or whatever, an indoor golf, and then I look at it and I'm like, well, you probably
has no character.
You put more in the bar than the Sims, and for us, I never wanted to use peak and off peak.
Yeah.
I never wanted to go, hey, you're locked in for 3 hours this month because you're on that level.
Yeah.
Junior membership, you can only be here afternoon, right? And once, everyone just go, it's unlimited. Like, just have fun. Just do whatever.
But as far as those, like, I think there's a space. There's clearly a space for those places to have the bar, right?
For sure.
Like date night, right?
Yeah,
okay, whatever. Now, granted, I see people come in here on date night, right? They bring a pizza, they bring a sandwich, they bring, sometimes people bring a case of whatever their favorite beverage is or whatever, and they have a good time. But what it really comes down to is, like, really preference, right? So this is a place you go to get better.
Yeah.
That's really what separates, in my mind, what the difference is. And there's a bunch of simulator places around here, and some of them are good, some of them are not so good, some of them take care of them, and most of them don't. Like, I've had to play on Sims where the screens were ripped. And, it might not seem like a big deal because you're just hitting into, like, a screen. But if you're trying to get better, it messes with you.
Yeah.
And
Brian said that earlier, like, he doesn't care about if where his time is spent.
Yep.
And when you're on a clock, you're on a clock.
Yeah,
And I'm anxious just on the clock.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like, just relax.
Yeah.
Like, someone goes, well, how long's your lessons? I don't know. Could be 10 minutes, could be an hour and a half.
Here's the thing. An hour to play 18 holes with, like, in here, you get 4 guys on a sim almost, like, all the time. Or 4 people on a sim because there's, I see groups of ladies come in here too, right? Yeah. The other thing is that, to your point about the time, like, the anxiety, like, golf is hard enough, dude. You don't need some guy who sits at a desk and manages time on like to come over and be like, oh, you got 10 minutes.
Dude, one of my partners, and I love these ideas because they have a lot of ideas. They never really been in here for a full day to check it out. But they're like, I think we should have lights on the sim. And the light should go if you have 10 minutes left. And I'm like, bro, if I have to deal with lights all the time and dealing with that for my members, it'd be just, it's insane.
So along those lines, right? Like, Brian, do you agree? I feel like we police it.
Yeah.
Like we manage it. Like we manage the expectation, I think.
And you spoke about peak and sort of off-peak hours, just as kind of breaking it down. When you're here, you find those times where there isn't going to be people bumping each other off.
Yeah.
Or like you find your nice.
Well, we have
nice
12
sort of
sims
zone.
too.
Well,
I mean,
exactly.
12 sims. Nice.
Exactly.
Chipping and
exactly.
putting too. Hey,
Yeah.
you can go chip and putt for
Exactly.
15, 20
Yeah,
minutes.
I mean, look, Brian and I have been here for 4 or 5 hours, right?
Yeah.
And we don't have a time scheduled. And when someone comes in, like we turn around and say, we're not scheduled.
Yeah.
You know, you can come play here. And people and I think that also that kind of communication shows everyone else like, hey, let's be respectful of everyone's time. And you know, I mean, obviously you have to schedule time now because there's a lot of members here.
Yep.
Well, and let's be real. And I deal with this so many times and it drives me nuts when they go, well, what if I can't get a sim?
There's really not a time you can't get a sim.
That's my point. I mean,
Right.
between the T sheet that we use and our membership and the way I cap my members, I haven't had not even close in KOP.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had busy days.
Yeah, but
you
the
always can get a sim.
Yeah, and the alternative is this. It's like, yo, give me 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Go chip and putt.
Yeah.
Because guess what? You need to work on that anyway.
Yeah,
Because that's kind of conversations we have here all the time.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
You know?
And if you look at the 18 birdies app right
Oh.
now, they're putting and chipping. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
People check their
Yeah.
short game bad.
Yeah.
So I mean, like in your games now, right? This is the first time you were at really an indoor golf club, right, Brian?
Oh, absolutely.
And
yeah.
same with you, Johnny,
Yeah.
right? I mean, first time really doing
In
this.
any golf club.
Yeah,
at all.
I mean, have you ever been in a private club, Brian?
No.
No. So
what I was talking about.
no. Talk about your confidence.
Oh, yeah,
you know.
the confidence. So, you know, going out and playing and, you know, like I said, Brian's been, and I've been playing for a long time, but like I go out and like I had a really bad attitude before. And then like even, so I've had 4 formal lessons, what I feel are formal lessons. But as I come here, the huge advantage, and I don't think anyone really understands because it's just normal here.
Yeah.
How many micro lessons have you gotten?
Oh,
I mean,
that chipping,
Yeah.
while that was a formal, there's been times where you've just come by and
Yeah,
just
said
watch.
a few
yeah,
things.
between you and John and whomever else is here. And even like Brian will come up to me and be like, oh man, you've got like a real bad path.
Yeah.
you
know?
become so open in this space.
Yeah.
Not necessarily for criticism, but for that constructive criticism.
Yeah.
that-
So
yeah.
the point that I was trying to make is like the value proposition here, like you get lessons, I guess, included in your membership, but like you kind of get lessons all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like John gave me a micro lesson on chipping one day, and thankfully I have my video on.
Yeah, your camera.
You do that all the time.
Yeah.
Like you come through and you.
Well, I mean, like let's be real. Like you guys can practice so much
Yep.
and so many times. Like right now, Bry's lost his downswing a little bit in
Yep.
his transition. It is what it is,
Yep.
right? His balls are going to start a little bit more left than when we had it, and
Yep.
started
Sorry,
to the
dude.
right. No, you're good. And once you can go, hey, Brian, like, let's get that club a little underneath, more. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I got it. And like, I'm playing with a guy today and he had the club a little bit, in a wrong position. And it just changed his whole golf
Yep.
around.
Yep.
And he had bad shots, but they were fine because they were manageable. And I feel like because we can have the reps around here, I mean, the thousands of thousands
It's a culture
of reps.
thing.
Yeah. I mean, like, let's talk about, that word value, because I love using that word to describe Scramble.
There is no better value in golf anywhere in the entire world. I mean that. I'm not just saying that because I'm a member and like you and I are friends, but I really mean it. There's no better value, Brian.
No, I agree. I totally agree.
Zero.
And jumping off on that too, there's serendipity in here that you're not finding anywhere else. Those those points of just someone saying, "Hey, fix this or adjust this slightly." You're not getting that out on a course. You're not going to get that within an hour or a half hour lesson. But
Listen,
you're going to get it.
we came in here and tested balls for 4 hours just to see what kind of spin rate it is. Like we
Yeah.
had like Shane By the way, Shane should come on here
Yeah, I
because
like
he's
Shane,
a
yeah.
super
Shout out
interesting
Shane.
guy.
Yeah.
But Shane is a data nerd. And then you get what then he's in here,
Yeah,
tweeting
doing
his
his
clubs and
thing,
stuff.
yeah.
But like it's the value. Like
Yeah.
it's the value's insane. I don't care. I would put it up against any
You know what?
any place.
I think you hit that number because I always strive, right, years and years of trying to develop this model and concept to hit a lot of different pieces and hit the value spot because I don't want to be like anybody else, but I want to give everything to everybody if they come in, and that's where from the Skramble Life, that's what it is, that serendipity. Dude, there's so many times, Brian, where I'm like, I look at you and I'm like, man, he's got it. And then the other day when you started hitting it, and I'm like, dude, you're going to win.
Yeah.
And freaking the next week.
Yep.
You shot 78, solid
Yep.
score for,
Yep.
for that. And, that's the thing when I go, hey, dude, I told you you're going to shoot even par this year.
yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
that was in the winter when
Yep.
you weren't really
No.
hitting it great.
Yep.
But those are the things that I see and I go, man, it's going to happen. And I feel like that confidence just goes through the roof.
And
Absolutely.
with, as you were saying, with that repetition, that aha moment or those multiple aha moments
Yeah.
happen, and you're able to go, right.
I
this
had
is
one.
right.
I had one with Brian 2 weeks ago.
Love it. Like that's
Like-
one of the, yeah.
I turned to him and he looked at me and he goes, "You just figured something out, didn't you?" I was like, "Yeah, 100%. I just needed to get my ass down closer to the floor."
Yeah.
Like-
dude, I'm telling you what, you are moving so much better.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm watching him at driver.
Smooth.
It's just right down
Yep.
the middle. It was beautiful. There's
And
no
by the way,
overdraws.
Justin didn't teach me tempo. That's just
No.
me having
Yeah,
some
yeah.
smooth moves.
Exactly. I love that.
He taught me how to hit a
rubbing off on
golf
you.
ball. What's that?
Said rubbing off on you.
Yeah.
So let's because I love talking to every different people, different types of people. You guys have been great. Let's kind of, the final of this episode, let's talk about what the Scramble Life means to a guy like you, B. Davis.
Ease. Like I said, accessibility too. Like I never am worried that I can get in here. I'm a single individual. When I get busy at work, I get busy at work, but I can come in after that. I can, no matter what time of day that is, and I can hit balls. There isn't a question of, oh, is this open or is this not open? It's open.
And I
There's
feel
no
like
excuse.
I feel, Johnny, that is so huge in people's life because I've gone to places where I've used to get to do a lot of CrossFit stuff, which I love it. But dude, they have classes that I got no chance.
Yeah.
I'm literally canceling a lesson so I could just try to get there,
Yeah.
and then I'm still late, and then they bust my chops, and I'm like, I never wanted, and that's so huge that you say ease. I want people to just go, oh yeah, I'll just go to Scramble. Like literally, dude, in the summer when it's raining, I mean, people are like, why aren't you playing at your club today? Oh, well, because I have an indoor club I can play at, and I just never wanted to go, wait, are we closed because they got a mow today? Or
Yeah.
I never wanted to do that. So yeah, that was huge. What about you, Johnny? What's the Scramble Life mean to a guy like
It's
you?
easy for me, man. It's just community.
Yeah.
Like this, I had probably the hardest year of my entire life.
Yeah.
In 2020.
And we've talked about that enough.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
Yeah. And like it's crazy, but like without this place, I don't know like how easy it would have been. Like it's emotional for me, but
Yeah.
like you and I think you and I got really close.
We're
Like
real close.
you know,
dude.
we drove up 95 with some questionable stuff on the top of a 4Runner, but like that time, like it was a comfort place for me to come to.
Yeah.
And that to me was really important. And the people here, like I came here and it was like everything was okay.
Yeah,
And that was hard.
And that's
That was good
another
for me.
thing we talk about. We just don't know what's going on in people's lives.
You don't.
Right? Like I could be grinding. I could have some troubles with finances, business, whatever. But this place is so much more than just hitting golf balls
Yeah.
and doing that. And it gives people like yourself. And we have another.
It's an outlet.
Yeah, and we have another member, who's having a tough time battling, an illness. And last year he comes to me, and man, I'll never forget it either. He comes over, he's like, Justin, I got to talk to you. I'm like, what's up? And he goes, dude, I'd be dead without this place, because I don't know what I would do. And that was, in the winter, nothing going
Yep.
on, and darkness in people's lives.
Yep.
And you look at, you go outside. If it's a bad day, people are mad.
Yeah.
They're just mad.
Yep.
When it's sunny out, everyone's great. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And I feel like this game and what we've done to bring different people in here to have that comfort. Hey, man, this is your place, dude. And I want you to have a good time. I want you to bring your friends and just kick
like
it.
I don't know, Brian, if you feel the same way. I mean, you see it every day, right? But for me, like golf here is secondary. Like it's crazy to think that the greatest golf facility, like maybe in the world, the golf here is secondary. Because the community's first. Like I don't know how it became that. I mean, it became that because that's kind of what your vision was. And by the way, anyone who really who really gets to know Justin, he's like one of the most impressive human beings ever. Like straight up, like seriously.
I'm excited to kind of dive deeper into that. A lot of people have asked questions, and we'll answer a lot of those, you know, later in the date. But I really wanted to kind of get out the first couple podcasts, kind of get who we are as a facility, brand, community, and then we can dive deep into what drove me to raise a couple $1 million, go something crazy and do that. And I think you and I are going to be on that one too, and we'll get B Davis with maybe Colbert next time. But yeah, I mean, podcast number 2, it's over, man. I love it, and we'll keep rocking and rolling. So
this was good, man.
I loved it. B Davis, thanks for coming, man.
Absolutely.
I love the pink hat and the style.
Gotta go for it. Shout out Talisman Caps.
Yeah, let's go. You and your Phillies cap.
It's just what I wear, man.
Hey, tell real quick before we get off. Tell them about that Phillies.
So we're right next door. So the Scramble House here, Scramble House King of Prussia is in a shopping center. And there's a Walmart and a Home Depot. Well, Justin and I were walking to Home Depot one day.
No, we're going to Walmart.
Oh, we were walking to Walmart.
We had to go to Walmart,
right?
and I was just in a pissy mood.
Yeah, he was in a bad mood, and we're walking, and his head's down. Happy. He's walking 100 miles an hour. And this guy goes, "Hey, man, you think Phillies are going to pull it off?" He's like, "Go Phils." And Justin goes, What is he talking about?
First of all, I don't care about anything else other than Scramble and what we do in the golf world. And what we were talking about was a little bit of your golf and what we needed to do, and I was really focused on it.
This person interrupted us, right?
What are you doing asking about the Phils right now?
So we didn't even stop.
Weird.
We didn't even stop our stride. We're going, and his head's down. He goes, "Why would that guy even? I don't even like baseball." I said, "Justin, look at my hat." And he goes, "That makes sense." I was like, it's a Philly sports
it's a
thing.
Philly thing, and like these people here with Phillies fan, I love it, and the passion that they have for sports, and that's what I have for golf and our facility and stuff. And everyone has that passion, but to see it happen into normal, regular people that they look at a hat like that and they bring up the Phils game or the Sixers game. It's just that's Philadelphia for you. So
no, this was good, man.
All right, boys. Thanks for another great episode. B Davis, thankfully, he fit us in that busy schedule.
Yeah, he's a busy fella.
And the bumbling golfer is always a great guy to get on camera, on podcast. Love listening to you guys. Love hearing about what you think about Scramble. I do it every day. I work my butt off. And to have you guys just talk about your experiences and what it means to you means a lot. So thank you very much. Podcast number 2.
Skuad, let's go.
Let's go.
Appreciate it.